Gather around, dear viewer, as we stand at the intersection of reality and speculation. These stories are interconnected events based on true occurrences, each shedding light on the forthcoming threshold event. Please watch this video, share it, like it, and help us spread the word. Time is running out, and our only chance lies in the collective understanding of these revelations. In 2024, Maria Ricci, a renowned linguist, has been conducting research in the private library in Italy. While cataloging ancient manuscripts, she stumbled upon a set of texts that contained symbols and words appearing in several other ancient civilizations, including the Mayans, Sumerians, and Harappans. Researchers have long been fascinated by the similarities found in the symbolic and structural aspects of ancient languages. Comparative linguistics and archaeological findings suggest that there may have been a shared proto-language or significant cultural diffusion among early civilizations. These studies, published in various academic journals, provide a foundation for exploring the possibility of a common linguistic origin or an unknown ancient connection between these cultures. But let's get back to Dr. Ricci. She sat at her desk, surrounded by towering shelves of ancient manuscripts and dusty scrolls. The soft hum of the library's lighting created an atmosphere of quiet intensity, casting shadows over the aged texts. "These symbols, they seem so familiar," Maria muttered to herself, tracing the intricate patterns with her finger. Her research assistant, Antonio, approached. "Dr. Ricci, you've been here for hours. Any breakthroughs?" "Perhaps. Look at this," she said, pointing to a sequence of symbols. "These markings appear in Mayan, Sumerian, and Harappan texts. It's as if there's a universal language they all understood." Antonio's eyes widened. "Incredible. What do you think it means?" "I'm not sure yet, but I believe this language hints at something profound." Days turned into nights as Maria delved deeper into her research. She cross-referenced texts and symbols, uncovering subtle references to natural catastrophes and societal collapses. The realization struck her like a bolt of lightning. This language suggests that the Earth is protected, Antonio. It speaks of the planet's protecting mechanism. Antonio looked puzzled. "A protecting mechanism? For Earth?" "Yes, and it seems ancient civilizations were aware of this. They communicated with this entity, understanding its power. There were rituals, an ancient way of communication. These rituals are described here. They are quite simple. The text also mentions the natural disasters, but I can't understand this part." After a pause, she added, "We need some help, Antonio." A few hours later, Maria was composing and sending emails to experts around the world. She reached out to several specialists who could offer insights into her findings. Her first email was to Jay Wilson, a geologist from Australia. Maria detailed her discovery of the universal markings and attached images of the symbols. "Dear Jay," she wrote, "I believe these symbols are more than just ancient writings. They seem to suggest that the Earth has a protecting artifact that ancient civilizations understood. Can you help me understand if there is any correlation with seismic activity?" Within hours, responses started to trickle in. Wilson was intrigued by her findings and agreed to conduct experiments based on the instructions Maria provided. "Maria, this is fascinating," he said during their first video call. "I've seen similar symbols in the outskirts of Western Australia during my seismic expeditions, but I did not know about other locations. I am in. I will help." Maria also contacted Cheyenne, a PhD student studying physics in London. He was eager to collaborate and suggested they synchronize their efforts to measure environmental responses during specific rituals described in the ancient texts. "Let's perform these rituals simultaneously in different parts of the world," Cheyenne suggested during a video conference. "We can then compare what we get and look for patterns." Maria agreed, and soon a network of enthusiasts around the globe was conducting synchronized rituals. Each participant documented their findings meticulously, noting any vibrations, energy pulses, or inexplicable changes in local weather patterns. One night, as Maria sat at her desk, her phone buzzed with an incoming video call. It was Jay Wilson, his face alight with excitement. "Maria, you won't believe this," he said. "We performed the ritual, and there were vibrations, energy pulses. Even the local weather changed. But now, it is beyond what I can describe. Look." He turned his laptop camera to the window, revealing a brilliant display of the aurora borealis lighting up the night sky. Maria gasped in amazement. "That's incredible, Jay," she exclaimed. As she marveled at the sight, her phone started buzzing with more calls from other team members, each with the same message. The aurora borealis was visible in their locations too. The phenomenon was happening worldwide. It became evident that the rituals were working. They managed to connect to the mechanism, wherever and whatever it was. Maria was happy. They were close to managing something that protects the planet. What could be wrong with this? She thought. We will learn to make our planet a much safer place. Nobody has ever been further from the truth. Enlightened with their first success, Maria frequented online forums dedicated to ancient civilizations and unexplained phenomena. She shared her theories, highlighting how great it would be to run such a mechanism that would allow humanity to better control the planet. One day, Maria received an anonymous message through a forum on the dark web. The sender claimed to be an analyst, working for one of the European national security agencies. The message contained a photo of a cave painting from an undisclosed location. Maria's eyes widened in shock as she examined the photo. The flickering light of her desk lamp cast eerie shadows on the ancient pictogram displayed on her screen. The symbols and images were disturbingly familiar, matching those she had meticulously cataloged in her research. But there was something more, a sinister quality to the ancient drawings that sent a shiver down her spine. The pictogram depicted twisted, contorted figures surrounding a large, ominous circle, pulsing with lines that seemed to radiate an unseen energy. In the center of the circle was a depiction of the earth, with tendrils snaking outwards, connecting to the figures, as if feeding off their essence. The figures seemed to be in agony, their faces etched with expressions of fear and despair. Maria felt a cold sweat break out on her forehead. She could almost hear the ancient whispers of those who had drawn these symbols, their warnings echoing through time. The lines seemed to move, pulsing with a life of their own, as if the very matter they were drawn on was breathing. This can't be real," Maria whispered to herself, her voice trembling. The room felt colder, and the shadows seemed to grow longer, reaching out to her. She glanced at the brief note from the anonymous sender. "Dr. Ricci, this pictogram has been recently discovered by our agency in a cave in the south of Europe. It's estimated to be 100,000 years old. It hints at a global, interconnected mechanism designed to maintain balance on Earth. I have read your recent posts. I believe you're wrong. This mechanism is not what you think it is. It is much more ancient and violent than you can imagine, and it seems that we, humanity, have triggered it." A sense of dread washed over Maria. The pictogram wasn't just a historical artifact. It was a dire warning. The thought that humanity might be on the brink of awakening an ancient, malevolent force filled her with an overwhelming sense of fear. Her hands shook, her fingers icy and numb. Suddenly the phone rang, a sound that seemed to pierce the suffocating silence of the library. "Antonio, you need to see this," Maria said, not allowing Antonio to say what he was going to say, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is more dangerous than we ever imagined. The symbols, they're a warning. We've come so close to triggering something terrifying. We were so wrong." Maria sent him the photo, her heart pounding in her chest. "Look at the pictogram. It's from a cave in Europe. It matches our symbols, but it's different, darker. It suggests a mechanism that maintains balance on Earth. It does not protect, it keeps the balance, brutally and violently." A chilling silence settled between them. The room felt colder, the shadows darker, and the ancient symbols on her desk seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. "This changes everything," Antonio finally said, his voice hushed and fearful. "We need to stop immediately." Maria nodded, her eyes never leaving the sinister symbols on the screen. As the call ended, Maria sat alone in the darkened library, the ancient whispers growing louder in her mind. The chilling revelation of the pictogram was just the beginning, and she knew that the path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty. We are still unsure what the mechanism was for, who built it, and most importantly, what happens if or when it is triggered. We are still validating our hypothesis, but we are not ready to reveal it yet. We'll explore other current events to confirm our understanding of its purpose. Stay with us and stay safe, for as long as you can.